Well, meditation is basically the silencing of the mind so that uh, we would take control of ourselves, our soul, and not the mind controlling our soul. So for that to happen, the mind has to be silenced. And meditation is an exercise to achieve that. There are many methods, but the objective is the same, is to be in the silence. Okay, when I was in university, I went to see the counselor because I was very stressed up, and he gave me some cassette tapes. Those days was cassette tapes to listen to some music and to relax my mind, and it worked for a while. Then when I was more relaxed, I just neglected meditation, didn't care about it because I'm okay. So it's only when I went to the 7-day transformation journey program that I eventually got into meditation as a regular habit. From the year 2002 till now, I'm still meditating every day. So, okay, I was starting my cybersecurity consulting company that time, and it was a lot of hard work. And that day, I was really worn out, and I decided to take a day off. And there was a holistic fair at Fort Canning, so I visited that holistic fair out of curiosity, and I met the self-awareness society people there, and there is a program called 7-day transformation journey. I look at it and ask what is it about. They say there is a meditation yoga kind of course, transformational kind of course, and I asked, is food included? And they say that is included. So I thought, well, okay, then maybe I should spoil myself for 7 days since they're even going to feed me. And so I signed up for the course without really knowing what I was getting myself into. Yeah, so when I was in it, then before the program, I was a very hard-nosed engineer or scientist. Everything has to have scientific proof before I would be bothered about it or believe it. I will not be willing to take a leap of faith in order to experience something and then understand it. No, that doesn't work for me. I must get the proof first, then I will believe it. Not make a leap of faith, experience, then believe. That never occurred to me. I refused to do that before going into the program. So during the program, there were a lot of exercises that is a rapid realization kind of exercises. And that taught me quite a lot, that if we put ourselves to be vulnerable to certain exercises, there's a lot to discover about ourselves, including our shortcomings and blind spots. Yeah. So that was the major takeaway for the program. Besides eventually clearing out my mind so well that I feel really ready and capable of sustained meditation. After the course, I feel very light. I mean, it's quite hard to explain this feeling. I suppose you start to look at things from a much broader perspective instead of just being dwelling in your mind and prejudices and so on. So you have a multitude of intellect expansion. You tend to be wiser. Should I say wiser? Wiser with your ways and more patient. Yeah, more patient. A lot more cool about things. That's the major thing. I think before I was very angry most of the time and very impatient, very, very impatient. And I did not use that impatience necessarily to only good use, explosive temper. And after the 7-day transformation journey, I think that mostly has been resolved at the beginning of the transformation. They feel that I'm very different, but they can't explain what. So in technical terms, is the aura has changed, right? I mean, they cannot see the aura visually, but they still can feel the vibrations that you are now a different person, much more liberated actually, not trapped by
That's
your
true.
own problems and expectations and all that. So you're more liberated. So they can feel this aura, but they can't explain it. So being layman, they cannot explain it. They just say that you're very different. I don't know how to explain about that. So I take that as a
Right.
compliment. In fact, on the first day when I finished, it was quite draining emotionally. So I had a sleep in on the Monday morning. So I was awakened by a telephone call from Kuala Lumpur. So I picked up the phone and I only said one word, hello. And the other person at the other end said, wow, Michael, what happened to you? I said, I just said hello. And they say that my vibes were so beautiful. They can feel it. And that's in Kuala Lumpur, right? Miles and miles away, they can feel it. The vibes will just travel that way. Beyond just physical, it's something metaphysical that has changed in a person after the 7-day transformation journey. Okay, I felt my heart was as light as a feather. It was like every cell in your body is lightened up and you're so liberated. You feel like you're a child again. It was fantastic. That lasted a lot more than 3 days for me, fortunately. I was meditating 3 to 5 times a day, following what Guru taught. So I suppose for that reason it lasted longer. Also, my class, we were quite close, so we got together. So there was group motivation. So it got on very well because of the vibes. I magically things happens. People who you ask for things, they tend to give you because everything is so smooth, so analog, so smooth. So that worked for a while. I think the kink, the difficulty comes in when fear comes in. So at that time, remember I was starting my consulting company. The fear of not being able to get the next project or the contract or so on and so forth. When fear comes in, then you start to neglect the spiritual side of stuff, and that's where the high vibration starts to come down, and then it's kind of a downward spiral in some ways because then some people will start to have loss of faith in this meditation and this 7-day transformation journey course and so on. But it's actually a question of keeping up that energy, and to keep up the energy is to meditate very regularly, and also to continue with that faith and set of beliefs strongly, so that things will continue uh, after after the 7-day transformation journey. There are always problems, there are always ups and downs in life, but it's how we react to it that makes the difference. And if our body and mind is not ready to react to problems, then you are defeated by the problems. So we must always maintain our mind and body to be ready to handle such problems. That I think the course have prepared me for. I went through several ups and downs. I had an incident where I had over-exercised myself and maybe overstressed as well, and my C4 and C5 vertebrae impinged on my nerve and fired down excruciating pain down the spine, permanently painful. That means there's no 1 second break at all. You wake up in the morning in pain, you go to bed in pain, and it's during the day is pain, and then you can be waken up in the middle of the night because of the pain. So it was very depressing. It got to a stage where even if I cough, it would the pain level would jump up. If I cough or something, or I sneeze would be terrible. The pain would jump up. momentary during that time. And you won't go down back to zero. You go down to still quite a painful level. But when you sneeze, it was like piercing acute pain. That was how bad. It was the 7 harrowing months of pain. It was very depressing. In fact, there was one evening where I even thought that if life is like this, it's not worth living. And that scared me really, because I was never this negative person. And then I said, no, there must be another way. Maybe I could assume that the pain is gonna be there forever. I have to work my life around it. So that was the assumption. And it got really bad at some point. I was on painkillers and all that. At the same time, I was still continuing with my acting. I didn't tell anybody on set or my co-actors that I was in pain. So when the director said action, I performed the thing. When he said cut, I stopped. And then in one of the time when he said cut, then I was wondering, was I in pain when the camera was rolling? Because I can't remember whether I was in pain. Then I questioned myself, how can I ever forget whether I had a pain or not have a pain, right? You can't forget pain. It's there. It just hit you like a brick. So that's when I realized that you actually can control pain with your mind. At that point, when the cameras were rolling, my mind was fully on the scene and acting the character. So I've forgotten about the pain. So if I can forget about the pain, then I can control the pain. And how am I going to do that? So I decided to go back to meditation. In fact, the irony was that I stopped meditation because of the pain, because how to sit down if you are permanently painful like this. So I stopped meditation. But because of that incident, I realized the mind can control the pain, right? I went back into meditation. Then I told myself, if I can meditate for 1 second, right, just 1,000 is good enough. 1 second meditation. And then from 1 second, I went to 2 second meditation, 1,000, 2,000. Then I went to 3 seconds. By the time I added it up gradually to 15 seconds, there was pulsation in the body. And it's as if the body is taking over the pain, sorting out the pain. There's pulsation and things are working out, loosening out during the meditation. So I continue meditating longer and longer until I managed to meditate 1 hour. So every time I stop meditation, the pain goes up again. But it's still lower than when I started. So when I start, the pain is like this. I meditate, it goes down very much. And then when I stop meditation, it goes up a bit. But this level is still lower than this level. So I continue to do that. And then on the, I think, 17th of April, 2016, I woke up with no pain. And it was so strange after 7 months of continuous, excruciating, electrifying pain that I woke up one morning without pain. It was like I was in paradise again. And that I'm proud to say that I managed to heal myself entirely through meditation. So meditation does wonders and magic. Somehow the body knows, but if the mind is in chaos and stress and all that, you continue compressing the spine and impinging on the nerve. So what I did was to relax the mind, and then the whole thing loosened up, the spine loosened up, and my nerve was not impinged, and therefore there was no pain. So up to today, thankfully, I've been hit, no relapse.